Hey, my lovely goal-getters. Welcome to the Moms Making Money Show. I'm your host, Amie Pederson, business mentor and confidence coach for the emerging boss mom. It's my mission to help amazing women just like you up-level yourself and your business because you are meant for more than wiping boogers and folding laundry. I'm also a wife, mother, urban farmer, influencer, green juice enthusiast, and an unapologetic lover of cowboy boots. I can't wait to help you grow your business by sharing my tips, tricks, proven business strategy, experience, and incredible guests. Hang on tight and enjoy the show. Today's episode is brought to us by our friends over at Sunbasket. Sunbasket is hands down my favorite home meal delivery kit. I first started using Sunbasket several years ago. They were the first people to use a paleo meal kit, and they have done so many great things to customize their meal plans and their meals to fit your dietary needs, whether you're a vegan, vegetarian, keto, paleo, or you just need a little bit of help thinking about what's for dinner. Every single meal that I had from these guys was amazing. It was so delicious. And it actually got me to eat things that I would have never thought about eating. And I just love not having to think about what I'm going to eat for dinner every single night. These guys send everything you need pre-measured, ready to go, and make amazing, delicious meals that my entire family loves. So as a busy working mom, it makes such a huge difference to be able to give my family quality organic meals that are tasty and new and fun and exciting. And I don't even have to go to the grocery store to buy the ingredients. They send them right to my doorstep. Everything is just how I need it, and it's delicious. So if you go to amiepederson.com/sunbasket, you will be able to get your savings on your first 3 orders. It's going to be a total of $80 over your first 3 months. And you guys, that is a smoking deal. So be sure you hop on over and grab your first box. Again, it's amiepederson.com/sunbasket. Okay, you guys, today we're going to be talking with an expert who I just know you guys are going to love. And we are going to be talking all about outsourcing. We're going to be talking about how to really take your business to a whole new level by starting to implement different types of outsourcing, whether it's done for you, on a tech side, or just growing your team, how to screen people for this. And I brought in expert business strategist Alma Bradford, and she's going to take us on this journey. So I want her to tell us a little bit about herself first. So Alma, I'm going to turn it over to you. Tell us a little bit about yourself, how you became an entrepreneur, and then we're going to dive into all the juicy stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for having me.
Of course.
And all right. So the way I got started is that I was working in corporate for a long time as an IT project manager, and I was not happy there. I was just not happy, like a lot of people. And I had my son. I actually had just gotten divorced, and that's actually when I started my business. It was back when we had the last recession. Mm-hmm. Which was not the best time to start a business, but I started my business anyway. And so what I did was I pretty much built up a social media and content marketing agency. And that's what I've been doing for all these years. I've been doing social media, content marketing, and pretty much showing business owners how to build audiences online. And recently, I have also added a coaching business. So I actually have another stream of revenue. But with everything that I've done, one of the things that I teach people in my programs now, because I pretty much do coaching now and consulting for women who do done-for-you services, who want to build a team, and they want to outsource. So a lot of my coaching now is showing people what I've done in my agency with my own outsourcing and helping social media marketers, digital marketers, virtual assistants, even business coaches, how to outsource. So people who do done-for-you services. And we can talk a lot about, what a done-for-you service business is, and also talk about what business coaching is and how that can actually kind of work together. So yeah, that's what I do now.
I love that. Tell us a little bit if you will, about what your transition looked like coming from what I would imagine being a pretty stable corporate environment during a recession into entrepreneurship? Like, was there an internal struggle? Was there outside chatter? Were you scared half to death?
Yeah, I just never really liked working for people. And then when I had my son, and I was raising him and he was in elementary school, it was just really hard as a mom, like, having to ask the boss to take time off if my son got sick or if whatever he needed me for. And then, going on those long commutes to work and coming back, and then I have to come home and make dinner. And you just feel as a mom like you don't really have time to really give to your child, and I think a lot of women are really looking to find a business they can work from home. And I had been reading about that for a while. So I was working in a corporate job as an IT project manager in the information technology industry. And I had actually read this book called The 4-Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to say that book changed my life. I think it changed my entire perspective. I had always kind of dabbled into the idea of having my own business because while I was working in my job and raising my son, I always loved to write. I went to college and majored in English and communication. So I always loved writing. So I was doing a little bit of freelance writing, here and there for like small publications here and there. But when I read that book and I really just kind of got into some of the concepts he was talking about, a lot of what he spoke about in the 4-Hour Work Week was about outsourcing and creating a business that could run without you. And that was really the main purpose of the book. So that really changed my perspective. So I had tried, while I was working in my job, I was trying different types of businesses. I tried a recruiting business, a staffing business. I tried to do a few other things. I don't know, such a long time ago. But what happened is at some point, it just got to the point where I found myself where I was no longer in the job that I had. And I was making a 6-figure salary. So I was not, me deciding that I wanted to go on my own wasn't necessarily just for money. It was really because I wanted freedom. I just really wanted freedom. I was making a lot of money as a project manager. If you work, anyone who knows the IT industry, you can make a lot. I mean, 6 figures is nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So my whole thing was like, okay, so during that time, actually, I can step back a little bit. So I was working, right? I was making good money. I found myself out of work, and that was during the last recession we had. Okay, so we had a recession. And that's like, I wasn't working at that time. A lot of employers weren't hiring. And a lot of people were losing their jobs. Okay. So I was at home and I'm like, okay, what can I do so that I don't have to go back? Okay. And that began really, really my journey. So what I started doing was I started to network because I've always been really good at writing. So I started offering blog writing and I started networking with local businesses in my city. And I started using Upwork. Now, back then it was called Elance. So I started getting clients on this, on the Upwork platform years ago. And I got clients, I started very small. I started offering blog writing for different types of businesses because at that point, there was a lot of interest in search engine optimization and SEO. And one of the biggest parts of having a successful SEO strategy is to have blogs written on a consistent basis. So I started that way and I got clients and it just grew from there. And I mean, it just really, really grew. But this is what happened. I was getting clients, I was doing the work, and a lot of the clients wanted me to share the blogs and the content on social media. So I started offering social media marketing services as well. And that grew. But the problem was that I was the only one doing the work. And some of my clients wanted us to, create, they wanted me to create at that time. It was before I started hiring. They wanted me to create like 30 articles a month and write 30 blog articles. That's crazy,
wow.
Right? Yeah. So I it's crazy. I tried to do it myself and I almost I don't know what happened to me. I think I got really burnt out. I got to the point where I wanted to quit. I was like, I can't do this. I mean, I love working from home, but this is too much. So
yeah.
that's when I was like, okay, let me take a step back. I need to outsource this. So, after reading Tim Ferriss's book, that kind of just, switched the light bulb on in my head. And I just went on different platforms and started actually hiring other blog writers to help me with my client work. And that's how I started my outsourcing journey for my own business. And it made such a difference. It gave me the free time I needed to really become a manager in my business and not someone who's working like when you're the only one that's doing it and you're a solo freelancer, it's like you work for your client. Whereas when I started outsourcing, that gave me more time to get more clients and have multiple clients. And so it didn't feel like I was working for someone. It's my own business.
Yeah, instead of just getting another job with a different tax structure.
Right. So from there, I grew it into a mini social media marketing agency, and it just grew from there. So outsourcing is not hard at all. In fact, I've never designed my own website. So I see a lot of female entrepreneurs, especially like on Facebook and in different communities, trying to do everything themselves. Like, I can't start my business until I design my website and I have a nice logo. For all of the businesses I've ever started, I have always outsourced the logo and the website design. I have never done it myself ever. And that's why I think it's so weird that people would spend time doing that.
I did it at first when I first just simply had like a health blog. And that was easy because it was just like an out of the box template. So somebody else technically designed it. I just picked that template, right, and plugged in my information. But yeah, I can't even think about, I don't have the knowledge and I don't have the time to learn it, to go into something like Photoshop or whatever and design a logo. So my logos are designed by somebody else.
Right. And the crazy thing is that when I started my business and I was getting clients, I didn't have a website. I did not have a website. I did not have a logo, and I still was making money.
Yeah. I think a lot of people, we come from the idea that we're comparing, we compare ourselves, like we're comparing ourselves to like, oh, well, this girl over here, she said she earned 6 figures. Well, she has a logo and she has a website. Well, yeah, sure. She has all that now.
Exactly. So yeah, that's how I pretty much grew. And then, when you do that, like I said, I became more of a manager. So my job became focusing on sales, focusing on getting more clients, right? Not doing everything in my business. And, even now, like most of my stuff is automated. Most of it, I have a system and a process for everything. And so what I did was that when I started outsourcing, and because I came from a project management background, I use a lot of my project management skills that I learned while I was working in corporate to manage my team of freelancers. So that's where a lot of people get stuck. And this is the reason why now I also, I coach female freelancers like social media managers, marketing strategists, website designers, and I show them how to create a virtual team, because the people in my agency pretty much are all over the world. The people that work in my business they're not face to face. They're all over different cities in the US, some people in other countries, and we are able to deliver projects on time and within budget, right? Using specific project management techniques that I've actually learned and I've actually tweaked within my business.
I love that. And I love that, an opportunity is being given to everybody, no matter where they live, right? And, it's making an impact on such a huge scale for so many women to be able to not only for women to outsource, but for women to be outsourced too.
Yes, and it creates jobs for people. And here's the thing about outsourcing. So a lot of people think that, you just outsource to people in the Philippines and that's it. And that's just one place. Okay. There's so many different scenarios where you can find freelancers that are affordable right here in the United States. Mm-hmm. So let me give you an example. I have a virtual assistant I work with, and she lives in more of the rural part. I hope I said it right. The rural part of the United States. So she doesn't live in a big city, right? So her requirements as far as her hourly rates or her fees aren't as high as someone who would live in a like New York City or San Francisco. So you can hire people right here in the United States who are in, small towns, right? There's so many of them, and they live in a city that doesn't have jobs. So you're helping people here who don't have access, right, to major cities and so many different opportunities. And so there's a huge workforce that people should tap into right here in the US. And then on top of that, you also have people from all over the world. So I've hired team members from South America, from Eastern Europe. There's a lot of great virtual assistants in Africa, the Caribbean. I mean, it's like all over now. Okay, so you have so many different parts of the world where there are freelancers and they have the training and the skills and the techniques, right? And the Philippines is a huge hub for freelancers and outsourcing. And even when I worked in a corporate environment for large corporations, those big companies outsource to Asia a lot. Okay, so I was already managing team members in the Philippines and in India and different parts of the world, even before I started my business, because that's the nature of what a lot of companies all over the world are doing. They're outsourcing all over, right? So as a small business owner, you can take advantage of this same opportunity as well, and you can help people get jobs.
Yeah. My very first virtual assistant was a military spouse.
Wow.
So for her, they were deployed, but for her, she was in a different country and she didn't have a work visa and she didn't have the ability to go out and get a job and earn an income. So she became a virtual assistant and served people back home in a way that she was able to still earn and be with her husband who was deployed. And it was wonderful. And so I think a lot of people are, and I know we're going to talk about it a little bit, but a lot of people are sometimes scared to take that first step of outsourcing because they're like, well, I don't know what kind of quality I'm going to get. And I don't know, what if I'm going to just get somebody and they don't do a good job, then I'm basically lighting my money on fire. And then there's no legal recourse because everybody has all this whole doomsday thought process behind it. And the cool thing is somebody like you can help do some of that vetting to get people who are qualified matched up with entrepreneurs.
All right, so let's talk about the elephant in the room.
Yes.
People are afraid to hire because they think they're going to get someone who's going to mess everything up.
Yes.
Okay.
Insert control freak. No.
That's the number one fear. That's the number one fear people have. So I have a very simple technique for that. So let me tell you my story and how I came up with this technique. So when I first started outsourcing, I have hired a lot of people, and it has been mainly through a lot of these freelancer websites because there's just so many of them, right?
Right.
And you cannot be afraid to take a chance. But what I've done is I have I call it like an insurance policy system that I can protect myself against mistakes. Okay. So that's what you have to think about it. You're just managing risk. So to really there's a whole, I have an online course that teaches this whole thing and it goes into a lot of detail. And it's not like a one time, just tell you everything in 5 minutes because there's a lot that goes into it. But I can tell you in a very simple way that all you have to do is just test people out. That's all you have to do. So you know how you go to a job and they tell you, okay, you have a 90-day probation period when you start. Yep. Most jobs have a 90-day probation period. So you know that if you don't do good within 90 days, you're not going to, stay there. You're not going to be able to have a long-term career there, right? So you have to think about it in those terms as a business owner. You're giving people a trial to see if they are a good fit. And you should never hire someone and then give them the keys to the kingdom, right? You have to be very, very careful because you don't know them. So you have to think of yourself as giving someone a probation period. And now I would cut that probation period timeline down to less than 90 days. And I would tell you that you should do a probation period of maybe 5 days. Okay. So you give yourself a week to test someone out. And if they don't do well within a week, then right there, you know, they're not a good fit. And then even if they pass the week test, you're still testing them for 90 days. And only after they've proven to you that they're reliable, they're good at what they do, they have the skill set, they communicate well with you, then that person can become a permanent member of your team. And when I say permanent member, I just mean someone who's always, you know, typically there on a consistent basis. You work with them regularly. Maybe you have a retainer fee that you pay them, or if you're making, you know, enough money, you can hire them as an employee. But that doesn't happen right away. And I see a lot of entrepreneurs just giving these people the keys to the kingdom. Like, here, just everything. Here's all my passwords, you know, do all this. And like, some people are getting hurt. It's very, very serious. So you can't just trust anyone that you meet. You have to put them through a test. It's like getting married, right? You meet a guy and say, he tells you, hey, I want to get married. You don't marry him. You don't marry strangers off the internet. Right. I hope that you don't do that,
Some
right?
People do.
So they have to prove to you that they can be trusted. The number one thing I look for when I'm hiring is trust. And I look for good communication. Okay. So the biggest issue one of the biggest issues people have is that they hire freelancers, they give them a project, and they never hear back. Or they hear back, you have to email that person like 5 times, and they're like, oh, I was like, hey, yeah, I'm back. You know, this happened to me. That is a red flag right there. So you want to make sure, one of the number one tests that my team members have to pass is getting back to me. So I expect people to get back to me within 24 hours. And honestly, I really prefer that they get back to me the same day. Because if I am running a marketing agency and my clients are depending on my team members to get work done every single day, I need people who are going to respond quick. So in my case, it's more when you run a done-for-you services business, like if you're a virtual assistant, if you are a website designer, if you're a social media manager, and you're putting out work for clients, you need a dedicated team. You need a team that's reliable, that's consistent, and who are trustworthy. Because otherwise, your clients are going to see that you're messing up, and it's going to make you look bad, and you can lose clients. You could lose money.
Yeah, that's so important. I also love that. I love that you talk about kind of doing it on a trial basis. Like, I think so many people feel like, oh, if I hire such and such or whatever, then I'm stuck with them. And, you know, I have this obligation to keep them for a certain period of time. I don't think that's necessarily the truth. I guess here kind of is my thought on it, and it's kind of from like a tough love place. Having also come from corporate is, you're a business owner now. So whether you work at a corporate job and you're the CEO of a brick and mortar type of business, sometimes you got to fire people, and it's never fun. Like, it's never ever fun to fire somebody, but sometimes you just have to do what's best for you and ultimately do what's best for them. Because if they're not a good fit, then it's hard on them as well.
Yeah, there's a saying in the business world where people say, hire slow and fire quick. And have you ever heard of that?
Yeah.
And that's the reason why. No, I mean, so there's 2 situations, right? So if you have a business, if you're a small business owner, you can hire freelancers, right? And so freelancers have other clients besides you.
Yep.
So if you say, we can't work together anymore, or, the project is finished, like, they're going to be okay because they have other clients. And it's kind of like, so it's kind of like understood that's the case. So one of the things I recommend that your listeners do is that you communicate this upfront. So when you bring someone on to work with you, you let them know, we're going to just see how it goes for the next 60 days. Let them know that you want them to help you with a temporary project. This way, after that project is finished, you can make that decision if you like them or not. But even if you have someone working with you, because something can happen. I mean, this is just like any type of business. Even if you run like a multinational, you're a CEO at a large corporation, sometimes you have to fire people. It could be for economic reasons, like maybe your business isn't producing the revenue it needs to pay your team members. That's just the way business is. Or it could be different things. Maybe they just aren't a good fit for where your business is heading. Maybe they don't have the skills that maybe you're changing and they don't have the skills for the way, the new direction you're taking. And then it could be that certain things happen, and sometimes people may leave you. You may have someone who's great and maybe they have to go on maternity leave, or they don't want to work anymore. They just want to stay home with their baby. So you have to expect that. And that's why I like to have multiple people helping me. I typically don't want to have just one VA. I want to have like 2 or 3 people that I can depend on.
I love that. One of the things that we kind of talked about before we went on the air is outsourcing and growing your team in various roles, even beyond just that quote unquote virtual assistant or create me a logo, design me a website type of thing, but even people to help you run, the actual business functions of your business. So since I'm a business mentor and confidence coach, bringing on somebody to help complement my role even is something that we had discussed. What are your thoughts on that?
Okay, so I guess maybe your audience, I don't know if you have coaches in your audience, like life coaches, fitness coaches, people who do consulting.
Yep.
So typically one of the things I notice is that in the entrepreneurial space, you typically have like freelance people, done for you services, and then you also have business coaches, right? And they're not business coaches, but just people who do coaching, consulting, mentoring. Because that could be like, you could be a fitness coach, you could be a relationship coach, any type, right? What I notice is a lot of those types of business owners, they think that they have to do everything in the business. So they land up hiring one VA. But then what happens is that, especially in the coaching industry, a lot of coaches make the mistake of building a business that depends on them. So if they get sick, right, they can't perform because they believe that they are the only ones who can help their clients, right?
Right.
So here's what I recommend that people who are doing consulting, coaching, doing transformative work is that you create a framework for your business, right? And so just to kind of backtrack, so I have my agency, but I've also started a coaching business. So I actually have a coaching program. I sell online courses and I have a membership site. So I have group programs. I sell digital products as well. And in that line of my business, I also have other coaches that help my students and my clients. So if something happens to me, like today, I have something I have to do after this evening, right? We have a group coaching call and I have another coach who's going to take that one on because I got to go take care of something. But the mistake that you see coaches make is that they're the only coach in their business. So what I recommend that they do is you can hire a virtual assistant to help you with admin tasks and marketing, things like that. But you can create programs where you have a system, you create a framework, and I recommend, especially for coaches, you can actually create a framework that your clients can go through, and you can have other mentors that you hire to help your clients alongside you so that you're not the only coach. So there's so many different ways to outsource in various types of businesses.
Yeah. I like that.
Right. That's your thinking. Yes, that's how it works. But it really is more effective when you have a group coaching program. So instead of just having one-on-one, right, you can have different business models. A lot of coaches think they just, it's done one-on-one, that's it. You can have group programs. You can have a hybrid model where you do one-on-one and a group program as well. My coaching program for freelancers is a hybrid model of me providing private sessions with our clients and also having a curriculum and a framework and a series of steps they go through. And then we do weekly coaching, and I have other coaches in the program to help. So I don't see that. This is the thing. I don't believe in creating a business that if something were to happen to me, I would lose my money. And so any type of business I start, I have to create it so that it can run without me. Mm-hmm. And that's what I do for every single business I start.
I like that. Well, and I think the whole idea of that for all of us, I think no matter what kind of business you have, whether it's MLM, life coaching, business mentoring, whatever that looks like, I feel like the whole idea is to not leave your job just to go back to having a job. It's, you want your business, I always say you want your business to work for you instead of you working for it.
Well, yeah. And then the other thing is life is going to happen.
Oh, yes.
So there's going to be things that come up in your future that you have absolutely no control over. That could be illness. You may have another baby, and then what? You can't take off maternity leave because your clients, like, why, if you want to have another child, let's say you have a kid now or you don't have any children, and you say, I want to have more kids. When you have the baby, right? What's going to happen to your clients? What do you tell them? Why do you have to stop helping your clients when you have a baby? Why can't you have a baby and take off 6 months and have a business that still runs? And you're making the same amount of money. Yeah. It doesn't have to be either or. But the way a lot of women set their business up, they set it up so that if something were to happen where they want to take take time off to be with their family, they can't make money. And that's the issue.
Yeah, it totally is.
So I really help women create systems to ensure that if they take time off, if something good or bad happens, right, they don't have to be in their business all the time. You have to build a business that can run with or without you, because anything can happen. And why would you want a business that feels like a job?
Exactly. That's the whole reason that we all get out of, quote unquote jobs, even if it's a good job.
Exactly. Now, here's the other part about it. Once you hire team members to help you, so you can hire a virtual assistant, you can hire a community manager. I don't know if you have a Facebook group. Mm-hmm. I have a Facebook group of over 8,000 women. And I have community managers, right? I have different programs where I have people that actually manage my Facebook groups. And so you can hire for multiple things. I always recommend you hire a social media manager to help you with social media. You can even outsource blog writing, right? So if you have a blog, you can actually get other people to help you with that. You can, if you want to grow your email list, right? And you're like, oh, what type of freebie should I create? Like, a lot of people get stuck with that. They're like, I want to grow my email list, but I don't know what the freebie should be. Or I have an idea for a freebie, I just don't have time to do it. Go hire a writer to create an ebook for you. It's not that hard. You can find people on Upwork. If you're like intimidated by the tech and you want to grow your email list, you want to create a ClickFunnels page, hire someone to do that. It's actually not even that much money. I mean, there's so many different types of freelancers all over. You'll be surprised. There's a diversity of prices. Let's just say that, right? So you can outsource that. We talked about website design, logo, and what else would it be? There's just so much. Oh, copywriting, right? A lot of people get stuck on, what do I say on my website? What should I say on the homepage? What should I say on the About Me page? You can outsource that to a content writer.
Yes.
Oh, podcasting. There's people who actually put together the podcast for you. They'll edit it for you.
Yes.
Everything. So, and Fiverr is great. I have someone on Fiverr who edits my podcast.
Right.
So, yeah, you can find somebody. It's even fun. It's kind of crazy. For my marketing agency, we've actually outsourced video to people on Fiverr.
Really?
For our clients. Yeah. And we've actually created commercials and everything. And we outsourced awesome. to like an entire team of video, like videographers and things like that.
I like that. So when you're getting kind of just ready to I guess I'm trying to think of the words. When you're finally getting ready to take that first step and really dive in, do you have like any tips or tricks or anything like that for really just going for it? Is there like some way to organize your thoughts or prioritize what needs to be outsourced?
Yes. So what I recommend is that you first write down a list of tasks that you want and I recommend you just hire a virtual assistant as your first hire.
Mm-hmm.
So you write down a list of tasks you want your VA to do, right? And what I also recommend is, depending on the type of VA you hire, some of them have the skills to do a lot of different things. Others may not have used your specific tool, or maybe you just have a very unique process you need help with.
Right.
What I recommend is that you document that by creating an SOP, a standard operating procedure manual, and also using video. Okay, so you can use a video tool to record your desktop and show that person how to do a specific task. So there's like simple tools like Loom, which actually goes on your browser,
Mm-hmm.
and you can use that, and you can you can actually record your desktop in like a few minutes.
I love that.
So yeah, I recommend doing that. And then over time, you want to create SOPs. You want to have systems. You got to have a set of systems. What happens, like, regardless of the type of business you have. So like if you have a consulting business or a coaching business or even an e-commerce business, right? Document what are the steps that you do on a consistent basis. Like what are some of the repetitive things that you do to run your business, and create a system for that and communicate what that system is. So, list out 5 steps to do XYZ. And that could be something that your team uses every single month so that they can work with or without you. For me, what I do is I actually use Asana. I've used Trello. Trello is also really good, but I use Asana. And I put in all of the training within one of my Asana boards. So whoever I hire, I say, okay, go into Asana, go click here. That's where you're going to find all the training, all the things you need to actually do your job. So at my, the way I have it systematized is that everything is documented. So I don't have to go and show them, each person that comes and works with me. I don't have to show each person because most of the training is already recorded.
Right.
So that's what I recommend people do.
That's such a great idea. I love that. And then it's just no matter who's there to help you or as you grow and expand, it's already prepared. That's excellent.
Right. And so that's how you create a system. And then also the other thing is, depending on how big you want to grow, team size, right? So how many people do you need? And this is the other thing you have to think about, right? Based upon how much money your business brings in, that determines how many people you can hire, right? So I can tell you honestly that I see some 6-figure business owners hiring like way too many people. And you don't need that many people. You don't need to have a team of more than honestly 2 people. You really could run a multiple 6-figure business with just 2 people on your team.
Right.
And 2 part-time people. And you can actually even get to 7 figures with just 2 people. You don't need to have 10 different people and because, you need money to reinvest back into your business. You need money for operating costs, right? You want to put money away to reinvest. Maybe you want to take out Facebook ads.
Right.
But you're paying all these people, right? So I see a lot of people make that mistake. And I come from a lean management background. So as a project manager and in the IT industry, I was into more of Agile and Scrum. And that's like a philosophy or framework that teaches you how to be very lean, how not to have too much clutter and too much, you don't need a large team. And in Agile, we have very small teams of 5 to 7 people. And we're able to build apps that are from some of the apps you use every day were built using this type of frameworks.
Right.
And very profitable businesses use Agile, right? And so you don't have to have all these people working for you because you need to save money. You need to save expenses, right?
Yeah.
So get 2 really good people and scale your business to, 200K, 300, 500 to 7 figures. And then you go and add a few other, you don't have to have, I literally have seen people making maybe like 250 and they have like 7 people working for them. That's just too much.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion.
I agree.
They make like 250K a year. They have like 7 people. That's just too much.
I agree. It's way too much. So tell us, I know you have a free gift for everybody. Tell us a little bit about this gift.
Yes, I actually have a free course on how to start outsourcing in your business. And you can go to my website, almabradford.com/free. And that free course is kind of like a intro into how to get started, like who you should outsource to, some of the mistakes you need to avoid, like we talked about today. It's a great start to help you really just hire your first virtual assistant.
I love that. You guys, make sure you guys hop over there, take advantage of this amazing free gift, and tell us one last time, or before we hop off here, one last thing. Where can everybody find you in all the places?
Yeah, start at my website, almabradford.com. And from there, you'll get access to everything that I have, pretty much. Also, I'm on Instagram at Alma J. Bradford.
Amazing. I love that. Well, thank you so much. This was so insightful and so educational. Everybody, be sure you take advantage of that free gift and really give some thought to starting to outsource the things that really are outside your zone of genius. You don't have to do it all. And some of these experts out there, they can get it done in almost no time because it really is their zone of genius, and save you so much time and heartache and stress and overwhelm and everything else. So be sure you check out the free gift to really guide you along that route, and make sure you give Alma some love over on social media. Thank you so much.